Jesus never, never fails. Jesus never, never fails. Heaven and the earth, they will one day pass away, but Jesus, He never, never fails. I tried Him, and He never fails. Oh, I tried Him, and He never fails. Heaven and the earth, they will one day pass away, but the Lord Jesus, He never, never fails. Lord Jesus, He never fails. Lord Jesus, He never fails. The heavens and the earth, they will one day pass away, but the Lord Jesus, He never fails. I tried Him, and He never fails. Oh, I tried Him, and He never fails. The heavens and the earth, they will one day pass away, but the Lord Jesus, but the Lord Jesus, I know the Lord Jesus, He never fails. I felt that this morning, y'all. Good morning, beautiful people. It's your girl, Bev, all the way from North Kakalaki. Thanking God for another beautiful day to see the sunrise in my life and the sunrise in your life as well, Good morning, Sister Tiffany. Thank you so much for joining my live this morning, y'all. This is the Fly with Bev show. If this is your first time, thank you for joining for the first time. If you are returning, thank you for finding it in your heart to come back and join me. It's called the Fly with Bev show. Fly with Bev show, because I believe in having the butterfly mentality. We go through so many things throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the year, throughout the decade, throughout the century, whatever you want to say, throughout the millennium, whatever. Um, and it's just good to know that we don't always have to dwell on our circumstances. Yes, everything may look bad, but it only looks as bad as you allow it to look. Your mindset will allow what you're dealing with to change in your view and in your heart based off of how you feel and how you actually allow your mindset to change. So, perspective. The sky may be cloudy, but somewhere above the clouds, the sun is still shining. And that's one thing that my dad always lets me know. When I'm in the airplane, the clouds, as we're going up, it's cloudy. But as soon as we reach a certain point in the air, in the, out in the open, here comes the sun just shining so beautifully. And my dad says that, and it really like sticks with me. And I try to share it as often as possible because sometimes we can allow the things in our lives to make us just feel blah. But God is faithful and he never fails. And that song just hit me this morning, and I'm so grateful for just being alive and being able to feel good while I'm alive. And I know feelings are temporary, but I thank God for the moments that I'm actually able to feel within my heart, within my mind, that everything is going to be all right, even when things are not the best that I would like them to be. So that's the butterfly mentality. So today I have a special treat for you all. I have a special guest, that has not been on my show just yet. And I'm very grateful because he came to me about a topic, a couple things that he wanted to talk about. So I definitely want to get him involved on this show. And I want you all to know that he's a very amazing person. I'm going to let him introduce himself, but I think he's an amazing person. And even in his youth, he still seems to shine in many ways with his confidence and his personality. And I'm very grateful and blessed to know someone such as he. So I'm going to get out of the way and I'm going to bring him on. All right. Here he
Hello,
is, everyone.
praise the Lord, saints. Hey, everybody. My name is Ryan. For those of y'all who don't know me, um, Ryan, first name, Blackwell last, from the headquarters temple in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. For those of you who don't know me, but are in the church and I haven't quite met you yet, I'm saying greetings to you now. Um, I am 21 years old, um, and I live in Philadelphia. Yeah. And so I came to Bev to talk about one specific topic. And then we kind of, as we were, tossing ideas back and forth, we came up with another piggyback off of one particular topic. So the topic of today, I don't know if I'm allowed to introduce it or not.
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay. So the topic of today is men's mental health and how men's mental health doesn't receive enough recognition, and how there's not enough talked about concerning the mental health of men. Hey, Tiffany, how you doing? Um, and so the other
Hi.
piggyback off of that one particular, hi, Nikisha, how you doing? And so the piggyback off of that one particular topic is also building relationships within the church and outside the church, and how sometimes that can be affected by things that we've gone through in the past and how little we trust in people. So we got all that from like a 30-minute conversation. So that's kind of, what we wanted to discuss today.
All right. So we can get right into it whenever you're ready. And as you all are here, thank you for those that are just now coming in. Feel free to comment and we will get to the comments or ask questions and we'll get to the questions. Have a certain time, I'll interject here and there and ask my own questions as well. But feel free to do like we always do and chime in whenever you see the need to. We really appreciate you. So, where are we going to start first, Ryan? We're starting at
I,
mental health or
yes. Well, it's up to you. You pick.
let me
We'll
see.
go. We'll go how the Fly with Bev show goes.
Let's do with the fellowship part. Let's start there. I think that's a good
I
place
kind
to
of want to
start.
start there too.
Yeah, I can see that. Go ahead. Let's do it. Let's do it. Go ahead. Open it up for us.
So the topic right now, for those of y'all just joining, like Bev said, is fellowship. What is the fellowship that we are supposed to share with one another? And are we really fellowshipping with people? And so being in the church all my life, going on, it just went 21 years. So out of those 21 years, I've probably been able to enact and notice things probably at like 10 or maybe 11. That's when I started to notice stuff. But around 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, that's when I started to really be able to observe and see the type of fellowship we give. And so a lot of times we don't really give genuine fellowship. And that's kind of the key words I want to work on: genuine and fellowship. And what does that mean? Now, we all know fellowship just simply means to acknowledge and greet one another, and maybe occasionally go out to dinner in between service, or all get together during the convention and go out and do an activity. But the fellowship of one another is greater than that. And the fellowship of one another is all well and good, to build a relationship and whatnot. But fellowship, there's another side to it, and that's being there one for another when they need it the most. That's having those people that you can trust, and having those people that you can lean and depend on when you can't lean and depend on yourself. All that wraps into fellowship and how we go about fellowshipping with one another. And also, too, fellowshipping also involves with stepping out of your comfort zone. A lot of times when we get together for conventions or for a new location, we stick to talking to the people that we know instead of talking to the people that we don't know. And we have to do better in acknowledging that. And I noticed that at our last convocation. There's so many new people I never saw before. So instead of always talking to the same people, I try to maneuver and talk to people I've never met, talk to people I've never seen before, because we don't know what they're going through, them being brand new to the truth, them being brand new to this way, or them this being their first convention. They're in a crowd of 3,000 plus people and don't know really what to do. So they've
Right.
kind of got their walls up, So it's good for us to break away. And I was talking to a certain elder about this from one of our locations, and I'm not gonna put his name out there, but I will say that when I was talking to him, he said that the fellowship of one to another is really important when it comes to your walk. And not just when it comes to your walk with faith, but outside of the church too. You gotta have relationships with people outside the church. I mean, Pastor tells us that all the time. You're not gonna always work with church people. So it's important to build relationship and have trust in people. Trust in people is hard, but it's a matter of finding your person or your group of people that you can lean and depend on, and also too going out of your way to meet other people and to get to know them. So that's kind of where my mind is at with fellowship.
Absolutely. Before I respond, I'm gonna put in some of the comments. Greetings, Sister Tamika.
Oh, sister, greetings. How you doing, Sister Tamika?
And good
Come on, Auntie, you know the
morning.
drill, right? Good morning.
And then Sister Tania said that's something I struggle with. I guess fellowshipping would be what she's saying.
Yeah.
Um, Sister Lily's from Jamaica. Hey, girl.
Jamaica in the
She said
building.
greetings.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Greetings, family.
And then Sister Tamika says, Amen. She was responding. And then I don't know who Facebook user is, but it says, Greetings,
I don't
everyone,
know who that
loving
is.
this topic. Well, greetings to you too. Um,
Greetings to you too.
and one thing that I said this year that I kind of have to, I think I responded or liked somebody's post that said they wasn't going out of their way for anybody this year. And for a minute, I was feeling that way, but I realized that feeling was temporary because I know, like, me. I know me.
Right.
Like, of course, after being burned, after being, going through different stuff with different people, you cannot let that affect your love for people, your
Yeah.
love for, the brothers and sisters, your love
Yeah.
for just caring about people. And I said to myself, like, nah, Bev, that's not you. You go out of your way for folks. Don't ever change because something didn't go as well, because those things can resurface. Those same people that you might have had a falling out with in 2010 might be the same people that come back in 2020 that you realize, you know what, that won't nothing back then. What's up, girl? How you doing, bro? How you doing? You doing
Right.
all right? Like, how's everything going? And you never
Right.
want to shut out, the opportunity to show love to someone. And,
Yeah.
like you said, you get comfortable in your group. You get comfortable. I don't have a group. I'm gonna be honest. I don't have set people that I hang out with, and I'm just like, these are only my people. That to me, that's cliquish to me. And even my siblings, they're not just my only people that I hang out with, but I do, want to sometimes spend time with them only because it's not often that I get all of my siblings in the same spot. at one
Right.
time. So,
Right.
there's always going to be a need to hang around my family. But even I feel like, okay, I love my family, but they're not the only people walking in the church. They're not the only people on this earth.
Exactly.
So, and I have a lot of
Exactly.
sisters, but they will
Oh
tell
yeah.
you, this is what some of them say. Uh, where your sister at? I don't know. She probably somewhere talking to somebody.
all the all the
And you
time.
know what? When they
All
see
the
me, there
time.
she goes. See, I told you she was over there. She's
See?
talking to somebody right now. Because
All the
I
time.
love my sisters, but I can hang out
Yeah.
with them at any time outside of church.
Right. Right.
When I'm with my saints, that includes my blood and that includes my spiritual family. And we're all one.
Yeah.
So, yes, there are times at the convocation where it's been a long time since me and my siblings just hung out together. So we like, man, you know what? On this day, let's do this. Like let's all just do this. Let it just be family this time. Because it's not often that even sometimes when we can get off. So it's like, man, the convocation's the only time everybody off. So
Right. Right.
during these 2 hours, let's hang out, let's do this. And that's exactly what we're
Right.
trying to do. We're trying to plan something where it's just us at the
Yeah.
convocation for like 2 hours or so. And then we can
Yeah.
go back and amongst the saints and stuff like that. So of course you love your family, you love the people that you always been cool with, but I'm like, hey, greetings sis, like we doing this, you want to come, like somebody
Yeah.
that I've never hung out with, because I feel like it's important to allow people to feel that family bond,
Yes.
and I don't ever want to be that person that exchanges energy. Oh, you giving me bad energy, I'm gonna give you bad energy. The only time I do that is when somebody has really made me mad.
Exactly.
Like, and to
Exactly.
be honest, you have to really make me mad for me to be
And
like,
then
all right, I
yeah.
got you.
And
Then
then the
they walk up,
situation got to be worth
greetings,
it
me,
too.
greetings.
Yeah.
Like, I really got to be that mad for
Yeah.
me to give you that type of, or I have to ignore you. No,
Yeah.
like the tender-hearted
And the
Bev,
situation got to be worth it too.
and it's never worth it, to be honest. It's never worth it to give anybody energy for energy, because I know sometimes if people give me that, or they don't want to talk, greetings, sis, how you doing? Then it's kind of like, I ain't want to speak to you, Sister Bev. That's all right. I know it. But how
Right.
you doing?
Right.
Good.
Right.
Wonderful. How your mom and them? They doing all right? Wonderful. And I keep it
Right.
moving. They be looking like,
Because you're not going to stop the
like,
energy you deliver. You're not going to stop that energy. That energy is very important. And
listen, you got to stay on top
I've,
of it.
yeah, I've never been, I mean, I have many a time thought about doing people dirty, but it's like a lot of people that tell me that's not in your nature. Like you're too social in the church. Too many people know you in the church. And I'm like, that's a blessing and a curse. Like, if I could just be one of them saints where people really don't know me, like, ooh, I've never seen him
Yes,
before. Where
I
is he
have my
from?
moments.
Like, if I could just walk in the sanctuary and not be like stopped by 50,000 different people, that's an over exaggeration. But it seems like every time I go to an event, somebody has seen me on that one telecast where Pastor called me up to the pulpit. I get that now more than ever, and I'm just like that. That sometimes can be very aggravating because sometimes I really just want to be able to walk down and just fellowship with different saints without everybody stopping me. But I appreciate everybody stopping me because
Yeah.
you never know where encouragement may come from. You never know how that person might make your day or how you might make their day. You might have been on
Yeah.
their mind. They might have been on your mind. So there's
Yeah.
always an inverse of operations when it comes between two different people. And we all are prone to struggle to stay within our group or even to ourselves. But when we do that, we kind of make a bad name for ourselves, like, oh, that person never wants to socialize with me, or that person never talks to me, or they're always coming and leaving right away, and that just might be them. That also might be their situation or what they're dealing with. So we can never assume
Right.
their situation, and we can never automatically assume that we did anything because it's not just Black people. And I want to break that right now. It's not just Black people that think that, or it's not just Black people that feel like, oh my God, they did something to me. I can't talk to them, but they're not talking to me. Like, what did I do? Like, it's nature for us to automatically assume we've done something wrong. But that's why it's always good to communicate with people firsthand. And I've talked
Yes.
with people from time to time, and I hear certain things about people And I just am like, I don't know the person, but I'm also not going to take what you're saying about that person. I'm going to want to go to that person and see what exactly, why am I hearing this? And if what I'm hearing is correct, and so that's why the fellowship is good, but also stop having premeditated thoughts about people
Yeah.
that will destroy you. You know, people have, and I tell people all the time, I said, you wouldn't think that me only being as young as I am in the church, I haven't gone through stuff. I've gone through some things
Yeah.
with other members, you know what I'm saying, or so-called members. And we're not going to get into all that because that's a topic most people can't handle. But, to tell the truth, most people can't handle
Be
that
nice,
topic,
Ryan.
I'm just saying, when it comes to calling a spade, like Pastor said, most people can't handle it. But Pastor was preaching a message not too long ago, and I'm not preaching or nothing, but he said that, or he was having a rap session with us about the importance of brother and sister relationships. And that really resonated with me because we really do condition ourselves just to speak to the same people over and over. We don't really go out of the
Venture
way. Like,
outside of that.
exactly. Like
Yeah.
me, it's not that many young people my age in headquarters. And I thought it's only was like 2 or 3 people. But after venturing out in May and June and all that stuff, I find so many people that's around my age that I would never know of if I never talked to them. Because you never, like, being young in the truth this day and age is not an easy thing to do.
Mm-mm.
But also being any age is not easy.
Yeah.
But the way that our generation is, I really wish sometimes that I wasn't born in this generation. But I'm also glad that I was born in this generation, because people come with me all the time and they're like, "You're so different. You're a different breed. This, and you're special that, and you're just not like the rest of the people." And they come back to me and they apologize. I'm like, "I'm so sorry because I judged you and thought you was just like the rest of these young black men out here who have no purpose, no sense of direction, and all that stuff." And I said, "Well, that's your problem. Assumption kills along with deception. If you don't know the full thing, or if you don't really know a person, stop trying to judge that person before, because you're messing
Right.
with their mind now. And now you're causing them to think they're not good enough, or they've got to adapt their way, or they can't feel a certain way, or they're not allowed to, go through the motions."
Right. Absolutely. Hold on one second. Let me read these. Sister Tamika Kara's going in on our comment
Lord
section.
have
I love it. I
mercy.
love it. She said, I love fellowshipping with the saints. It's a blessing to have such an abundance of brothers and sisters in Christ. Absolutely. And meeting new people
Yes.
always allows you to learn who more can I click with. Who now I don't mean click
Yes.
as in cliquish. I mean like who more can I gel with? Who more can I,
Right.
as the modern day terms, vibe with? Like,
Right.
because you got to realize everybody is not going to be your person. You're not going to be everybody's person. Some people may see me and be like, "Oh gosh, I'm a little too introverted for Sister Bev. She's a lot." So I'm gonna just say
Right.
greetings and hug her and keep it moving, and I'm fine with
Right.
that. But then there may be somebody that be like, "Sister Bev is crazy. I love it. Where's she at? Sister Bev, what's up?" Because that's just
Right.
how I
Right.
am. I could be crazy like that, and I could be
Yeah.
like, and people
Right.
will
And
receive that.
yeah.
And then sometimes I could tell that somebody's more so. So I'm like, how are you doing? You doing all right? And I keep it real
Right.
quiet on their level,
Right.
And then there are some people that I can crack jokes with, and they be cracking up laughing. But like, Sister Bev, you are, and I have a sister, I love her to pieces, and she always tell me like 3 times in the conversation, "You are so crazy," and I just get even more crazier because she can handle it. So that's the
Right.
beauty of it. Sister Mika
Finding your
Carroll says,
comfortability.
exactly. She says, "Amen, Sister Beth. I'm always going to help my family, Lord's willing." Exactly, and that's what you got to do. You can't be afraid to reach out and help people, regardless of who they are, where they come from, what they look like. If everybody else shun them, I love to be the person to embrace them because
Yeah.
everybody needs love. I don't care where they come from
Yeah.
and who they are. Everyone needs love, and everybody is looking for love. And if you are the one
Exactly.
that refused to show it simply because someone else didn't treat you right, you're not giving that new person a fair chance to receive love
No. And you're
from
no better
somebody
than the
else.
first person that did them wrong. You're no better than the
Exactly.
first person.
Or you're no
And
better than the person that did you wrong because you ain't treating them
right.
right. So you
Exactly.
on the same exact level.
And what
Hold
Sister
on, hold on
Tamika
one
said
second
is
before
so
you go
true.
in. Oh yeah, go ahead. Respond to that if you want to. I'm just reading the
What she
comments.
said No, what she said about always helping your family. It's always good to help family because number one, you never know what that person is going through. That's
Right.
the main thing that really has to be. That's one of the main things I should say that really has to be acknowledged is if you don't know what a person is going through, stop treating them like you see them all the time and you know what their situation is.
Right.
Stop.
Listen,
You need to stop focusing on the outward and start paying attention to the inward man and the inward mindset.
my sisters in them, they can testify of the truth. It don't take me long to pick up on somebody being different. And I don't mean different in a bad way. I mean different in going through something. And I'll be telling my sisters, I'll be
Oh, it
like,
doesn't take you long at all. No.
I'll be like, did you see such and such today? They be like, nah, I really won't pay attention. They ain't look themselves. Something ain't right.
Right.
I'm a pray for them. Something ain't right. I don't know what it is, but something ain't right with them. They seem to be
Right.
going through something. And my
And
sister, and
that's
then
it.
later on, that person will either testify about how they've been going through X, Y, Z, or we'll end up having a conversation. And one of my sisters or somebody will have a conversation with them, and they be like, "Man, such and such been going through it. Y'all keep them in prayer." And I be like, they be like, "Man, you
I can do
called it." I'm
that.
like, I'm telling you, like I
Yeah.
can tell because even though I'm social, I'm very observant, and that's the thing. People can observe through an introvert aspect or through an extrovert aspect. And I don't have to be silent to watch somebody. I can be talkative and having the conversation, but that person will walk by me and I'll be like, yeah, something ain't right with them. And I'll be like, blah, blah, blah. And, in my head, I'm like, Lord, please have mercy. I don't know what's going on, but have mercy on them. And then I'll say, you know what, let me reach out to them. So I reach out to them like, hey, you didn't look yourself today. You all right? And they be like, no, I actually been going through X, Y, Z. Thank you so much for checking up on me. I really appreciate that. So it's like,
Yeah.
me, if I wasn't going out of my way, I'd be like, what's wrong with her? Or what's wrong with him? I
Right.
ain't studying that.
Like
Whatever.
again. Right.
Judging, thinking that they got a nasty
Right.
attitude today, but they could have a nasty attitude because something happened.
Yeah.
Something is
Something.
wrong.
Yeah.
It ain't got nothing to
And
do with me, but
and you
something
know
is
the
wrong.
problem. Yeah. And
Go
the
ahead.
problem. The problem I was gonna say is, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but the
No, no,
problem
no, it's all right.
sometimes is they assume that the people who are the most extroverted and the most outgoing never are allowed to go through problems. And
Yeah,
I get
that's a
that
huge one.
all the time.
That's a
You
huge
know,
one right there.
people will ask me, they'll ask me from time to time, you don't seem yourself. Are you okay? And I'll be like, no, I'm going through this, that, and the fourth. But, just keep me lifted. And they're like, really? You're going through that? A person like you? And I'm just like, what do you mean a person like me? They're just like, you're just so extroverted and you're so social and you always have a smile on your face. And I say, well, just don't be fooled by the outward
Right.
because the outward, cause I'm good at putting on a facade. I'm good at smiling and, making sure you don't see what I'm going through because
Exactly.
you don't deserve the treatment of what I'm going through. Therefore, I'm not going to project that onto you. And
Right.
so people will see me convention after convention and they'll be like, this brother's so happy, man. And you know what I'm saying? He was so happy in the Lord. Like, golly. And you just don't know. Like I could be going through something and I won't put a facade on at all. I'll be smiling and I'll be happy go lucky. I won't get aggravated, because I don't believe in letting you see my aggravation or my
It's too much
frustration.
energy into that.
That takes too much out of me. I'm coming to the
Too
convention
much
because I'm
energy to
looking.
wear it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking for spiritual renewal. I'm looking for a breakthrough. Whatever it is I'm looking for when I go to a convention. My mind is just focused on, Lord, you know what I need. Now let me receive that manna from heaven with open arms so that
Exactly.
I can readapt, so that, okay, this is the first thing and I'm aggravated. But by the next morning, my burden is gone. You know what I'm saying? My heart is no longer heavy laden. But then the flip side, I could be like that all weekend and I could
Right.
be going through something, So it's always important to never judge a person and to never assume that just because a person is always happy doesn't mean they can't go through anything.
Exactly. Doesn't mean that on the inside they crying, right?
Exactly, because they
Let
could
me
be
see.
crying bad for help.
And you just never know. Honestly, let me go through some more of these comments because we got to catch up.
Lord have
Sister
mercy.
Sharika says, "Greetings, very good topic. Greetings. Where are you
Greetings,
from,
sister.
sis? Thank you for joining
See
us today."
all these people joining.
I try to hang out with different sisters from other temples when I travel. Exactly, Sister Tamika, which means that you got to keep me on your list because we got to hang out.
Right. And that's the other
uh,
thing. Traveling to other temples, get to know these other saints. Like
yep.
that's what me and a few other people from headquarters we try to do. You know, we try to visit a temple once a month or once every 2 or 3 months. And we try to visit a temple we've either never been before, or it's a newly established one, or we've only been there one time. Because when you have people that have been in the church for a long time starting to that travel and fellowship, you see that okay, they might not be what I thought they were, or they might not just be
Or I
stuck
never
up or
had any thoughts
whatever.
about them anyway. I just didn't know
Exactly,
them, never seen them before.
exactly, exactly. And so
Simple as
now
that.
you know exactly, and now you know that okay, when convocation come around, okay, that brother I seen in Augusta, that's the brother. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Yeah. And that's what it is. You begin to place people. You're from such and such temple. You're from such and such temple. It's good to see such and such in the house, such and such in the house. And I
yeah.
think it's really a really good thing, honestly. And I wasn't trying to cut you off,
It's
Ryan, honestly. I
no, no,
just
no.
was
I'm done. I'm you just said it.
Sister Tamika Carroll said, Bev, that's me. And I think I know what she's talking about when I be like, when you can tell somebody don't want to talk to you and you greet them anyway. Hey, how
Yeah,
you doing? You doing all right? How your mom and them?
yeah,
Because, you can see it in their eyes that they don't want nothing to do with you. But
yeah.
it's
But
all
I still greet
good.
them anyway because if you don't greet
Yeah,
them, then they'll make
absolutely.
something up about how you didn't greet them.
Exactly,
You know.
exactly. And we don't got time for that either. Let me see what she says. People also have to stop telling other saints why they don't deal with other saints. We ain't the way people look at others and ourselves. Exactly. And this is a key factor because I don't deal with
Yeah,
somebody, well, I ain't gonna say that because I can truly say I'm gonna be honest. I can talk with anybody in the faith, even the ones that
yeah.
have really done some dirt, And I know I'm not perfect, so I can't sit around and act like I ain't never made
Or the
nobody mad.
judgment
Oh, I
sit
know
on
I've
them.
made some people mad. I
Right,
know I've made somebody mad. So I try my best to come humbly and come in a way where people can receive me, especially to the ones that I have had, situations with. Um, but I don't want to go around and be like, look, me and this sister had a situation, me and this brother had a situation. Don't talk to him. No, people have came to me about other people, but I ignore them. Listen, I ain't got nothing to do with that. That's between y'all. That's between y'all. That's my brother. That's my sister. Whatever y'all had going
right.
on, that's between y'all. I ain't got nothing to do with that. So it's like you got to tell people because you got to have your own mind. And if anybody treats me according to the way that somebody else told them something about me, that lets me know they're not mature. And that lets me know
Yep,
that they ain't the type of person that even needs to be talking to me. Because if you're going to sit up
yep.
there and come up to me based off of what somebody said, you giving me looks, you rolling your eyes at me, you looking me up and down. I don't even know
It's
you.
it's a
Or I thought we
exactly.
was cool. And all of a sudden you heard this, you heard that, and now you turning your back on me. Now you don't want to talk to me no more. You're not mature.
Yep. No,
You're
and
not
also
mature.
too on top of that, people will say, "Oh, you're this person is trying to do such and such," or they want this and that and the fourth, and then they'll be like, "Oh," so then they treat you differently. But I'm like, you're taking the information you just heard at first glance. You're not investigating nothing, and
And
that's a
sometimes they
problem.
don't even need to be. Oh, you mean like if they hear something about something that you've done or something like that?
Exactly. Or but
Okay.
or if they try to make up something, like say for instance, a person, a group of people are out to eat, and a person says this one's someone so is trying to do such and such to you, or they think such and such about you. First off, this is not the time nor the place. Why are you going in secret talking about people when we're all out together? Why? You know,
Because they want that
and
person. They want other people to feel the same way they do about that individual. And that lets you know they're
exactly,
not mature. Because
exactly.
it can be tempting though, because especially if somebody that you know is a good person and they're dealing with somebody
What's up, Gino? I'm
I
sorry.
know, hi, Gene.
I'm sorry.
And no, it's
Gene, how
okay. I
you
know.
doing,
That's why I
family?
put it up there. Um, and hold on, wait. I think Brother Javon says Ryan, as if you're the only person on this show. Rude. Don't come on my show
Lord
being
of
rude.
mercy.
Don't come on my
He's
show being
probably
rude. He is
no.
not the
I say
only person on here.
I have a feeling why he's saying that because I don't really, talk about things like this. Like if I'm
It
talking
don't
about
matter.
something
He
like
don't
this,
be, he don't be on my show.
I
Why he
call
coming on here talking about some Ryan? But boy, bye. I had to call
Lord
somebody
of
else about
mercy.
something like that the last time they was on my show. I'm still Bev, whether I'm on Flower Bev or whether y'all see me in church. So don't come on my show being rude. Hello to you too, Brother Javon.
What's up, Javon? How you doing? Oh, you done got in trouble with Bear.
Sure did. I don't play that. Don't come on here like
Lord
that.
have
Come on here.
mercy.
Better put some
Well,
respect on my name.
he might have acknowledged it later down. You know what I'm saying?
No, he
But
didn't. I see all the comments. He didn't acknowledge me at all, but that's all right. Anyway, Um, Let
Lord
me
of
see. What was
mercy.
I saying? No, it's too late now. Don't try to put that in the comment section now. Nope. Keep that to yourself. I don't even want to see it.
Lord,
Uh,
Lord, have mercy. Help them, help them, help them, help the
but
people.
no, it's just a thing of, just we really have to protect our brothers and sisters from other people,
Yeah,
because just because someone made a mistake with you, or just because someone did something to you, does not mean they're going to be like that towards everybody. But there
yeah,
are times when somebody's living a double life. Someone's not behaving the way they would normally behave to certain people, not just because you heard it, but because you've witnessed it. And what
yeah,
they do, they will camouflage themselves around certain people and to make themselves look good, but they're
yep,
really deceitful. And what
yep.
happens is, after a while, that person will show themselves, and they always do. So they may
Right,
feel like they're getting away with it. So sometimes you're kind of like, like I know that person. I know, and like you, of course, you want to give that person a chance and think that they're not gonna do nothing. But then all of a sudden something happens, a little something happens, and you're like, oh, here we go. Here they go again, being a
right.
fool. And with this person that you know is a good person. And you
Yeah,
just like, Lord Jesus, okay, they
and
evidently
that's
haven't learned nothing yet. So
yeah,
you, of course,
nothing.
you get tempted to say, stay away from that person, because I can
Yep,
see now, based off of what you're telling me, something is they're brewing up something. Their fool is
exactly.
coming out.
And that's
but
why
but
it's
you have to
terrible.
like zip it, and you gotta let people see stuff for themselves, because
Yep,
you
and
never
it's
want to be the person that talks too quick, and then that person
yeah,
always does a good job with loving that person and doing well by that person. So I'm like, okay, so you just and I do pray.
yeah.
I'm like, Lord, if this person don't need to be around me, because
Clean them out, clear them
yeah,
out,
because
clear them right on out.
like, listen, my mom, like, cause my dad, he'll see us around people, and my dad, he's not the type of person that's gonna be in our business unless he really like, now look,
Needs to be.
now I saw such and such, but my mama, we may talk to her about, or we may not even talk to her about it. My mama will be like, nope, because that's what parents do. Stay away from that
Yeah,
person. They talk too
yeah,
much, or they stand in the third, and you be like, huh?
right.
And then later on down the line, you
Yeah,
realize mama
right.
was right.
Yeah, yep. And we suffer greatly, and we
And we
suffer
suffer greatly.
greatly
We were
from
like,
it.
Ma, she be like, I knew it. I told you. Stay away.
She be
Don't
like,
tell them. Look, she be
I
looking like,
told you.
don't tell them none of your business.
Yep.
Telling you right now, don't do it.
And see, the thing is, that's what I love about your mother. She'll say that if you're not her child, and she'll be right later on down the line. Like she told me something one time, and I looked at her like, "Are you for real?" She said, "I'm telling you right now. I speak the truth to Christ in heaven and I not. You keep fooling with them, you gonna get your awakening." And I just be like, "No, ain't no way." She said, "All right, I ain't gonna say nothing else." And bam, it happened. I'd be like, "God Almighty, man."
Listen, Mama Bev is Mama Bev, and I am a
She
product of Mama Bev.
listen.
And
She
so
be knowing stuff.
I know. I be like, Mom, you such and such. I knew it. She said, I knew something wasn't right. And I didn't know what, but I knew such and such and such and such and such and such. But my mom will know when I'm trying to keep stuff from her. She'll know, because
Yeah,
my mom knows I'm very independent minded. I do not believe in being like maneuvered or,
yeah,
like, shoved in any type of direction by anybody. I don't care who it is. I've
yeah.
always been like that since I was a kid. But my mom would tell me, I would come back and be like, Mom, such and such happened after everything went down. She was like, I knew it. She was like, I knew something was wrong. I didn't say anything because I know how you are. I know you like to do things, and you like to learn things. And I understand that. She said, but I knew it. So all I was doing was praying. I was just talking to God about it.
Mm,
And I was just like, I know, Mom. She was
man,
like, I said, but Mom,
hey,
I'm okay. She's like, I know you okay. She said, but I just wanted you to know that I saw XYZ. And I be like,
before Elemental P happened.
yeah, or I saw XYZ while you was dealing with it, but I knew that you was gonna handle it and you was gonna basically come back to me later and talk about it. Or
Yeah,
sometimes I don't tell my mama nothing, never go to her about nothing. But she may just make a statement, and then I'll be like, yeah, mama, such and such and such happened. She was like, I know.
mm.
Y'all, she said, y'all don't think I'll be paying attention? Y'all my children. What you mean? Like,
Right,
I gave birth to y'all.
right, right. Every last one. All, all.
Nine. Nine.
Right, right.
All
Four
nine of
boys,
us.
five girls, all nine,
No, it's
and a
three boys and six girls.
set of twins included. Right. I'm gonna
Yeah.
get the numbers right one day, but
It's all
and
right. It's all
that's
right.
the thing. It's like you got to not let your good be evil spoken of, and we're taught
Yeah.
that all the time. when it comes to interacting with people, even down to just talking daily, day to day on with a person. If you know somebody is a bad mouther, and like Pastor gives this example all the time, if we're exchanging a piece of paper with somebody, don't assume I'm giving that sister my phone number or that she's giving me
Exactly.
hers. I work on a lot of auxiliaries in the church. We could be discussing paperwork. We could be discussing things that got to get done for the convention, you know. So it's always important. That's why Pastor tells us, like, don't always assume, because what you see isn't always what you're looking at.
Right.
And I want to address this person's comment,
Oh, okay.
but you go
Sorry, I
ahead
had
and
put it up
address
there.
it.
She
No,
says, exactly. I keep my joy because I don't want to put people through what I'm already going through. My problems ain't got to damper everyone else's mood. And I think that's the thing. People are so used to certain people smiling. So we have to continue to smile. Now, there are some people that will wear their emotions. They walking around like,
they don't.
you
Yeah,
good? No,
yeah,
blah, 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 blah. And you just be like, okay, well, tell me, all right. Sometimes people ask, are you good? Because they know something wrong, but they don't really want to hear about it.
right,
And then sometimes
right,
people ask because they really want to hear about it.
right,
But some people be like, you
right,
good? No, I'm not good, man. All right, well, I'm gonna pray for you. They go ahead and end
right.
it. I'm gonna pray
Well,
for
and
you,
also
man.
too, sometimes you got to know, like sometimes you have to know the person
Yeah,
in order to know whether it's worth getting involved or not. And
yeah,
that's another key thing, because just because you and I grew up in the church together, or just because you and I came, you came to the church later on down the line, doesn't always mean I, number for one, want to get involved. I have a
right.
right to not want to get involved, and I have a right to ask you if you would like, some guidance or discussion, to help you about it. That's why, That's why we're expected to be helping one another, because it all fluctuates into one
Yeah,
thing. It's never one steady thing by itself. It's always multiple different culminating and coming into a conglomerate where we have to, really self-evaluate and see, number one, is it worth it?
yeah.
Number two, to that person, I don't know who you are, but hello, under the username we create, don't feel like
Sister
you're
Miller.
putting Sister Miller. Okay, thank you. Don't feel like, you're putting somebody through your problems. If somebody
Yeah,
reaches out to you, use good judgment to see if they really want to help you, or to see if
they
they're
trying to
just
be
trying to get
nosy.
information out of you and slander your name. Like, and you don't have to tell them everything. You could tell them the I like to call it the plumber vibe. You know, I'm not getting into all the details with building the house. I'm just telling you the solid foundation of what I'm going through,
Yeah.
and just see how they can handle that little bit of information. But
And you
don't feel
got
like
to
you're
observe first
putting
too.
somebody.
Yeah, you got to observe first too, because if
Yeah,
somebody could look at me and see how friendly I am and see how I talk to different people and say, she look like she'll just tell everybody business because she's this, she's that, and the third. And it's like, hold on. First of all, just because I'm a social person does not mean that I tell everybody business. Because one thing I can truly say, a lot of people come to me about stuff, or if I ask people how they doing, some people come to me about the most deepest things, personal things they don't even tell other people. And I can truly say, like, what is it? It's not my place to go around telling people business. That's not my thing. It's really not my thing. Okay?
right.
It's not my thing to be like, oh, let me tell you, such and such going through this. Oh, yeah, that's something. Let me tell you, she going through that. No, that's not my place. I love being a confidant for people. I love being a safe haven for people. I love for people to be able to open up. And I'm not looking for them to open up to me. But if I see that somebody's carrying a burden, I'm telling you, there have been times when I see people carrying burdens and I be like, Bev, we got to figure out we got to help them. That's me. That's me. That's how I do. Because like the man of God teaches us, you should not ever go. I mean, people go through this life and can't help nobody else but themselves. You can't help nobody but you.
Yeah,
You going through stuff and you want everybody to help you. Or
but you
you
can't help a
sit in
single
silence
soul.
with yours, and as soon as somebody come to you, you're like, well, I can't help you with that.
It's sad.
What are you good
It's
for?
really,
I mean,
really
that might
sad.
sound bad, but it's like,
No,
you
but it's
know,
true.
like you
You
got to
gotta
be
call a
able to
spade a
help
spade.
somebody else. And I'm not saying that I can care, but I know me. I can go through the deepest and I've been in depression, and that does not stop me from helping other people. It did not stop me, should I say. When I was in my deepest, darkest depression moments, I still found words by God's permission and by God's strength to help other people because
Yeah.
that's me. Like, nah, my problem, it can wait. Man, I've been dealing with this all week. Who cares? What you going through? Maybe that'll make me feel better. Come on, let's talk.
Right.
Like, let's
Because
talk.
maybe that'll
Let's
help
figure out a
you.
solution. And I'll be like, you know what? Maybe I need to try this. Okay, well, let me try
Yeah.
this for myself. So it's the thing of reaching outside yourself. Hold on, wait. And Gino says, laugh to keep from crying. Exactly. Sometimes you do have to laugh to keep from
Yeah.
crying because it's not
I
worth
like
the
it.
tears sometimes. Like you can sit there with something and be like, man, bump this, man. I ain't even gonna worry
Right.
about it.
And
Let
then
me just laugh about
sometimes,
something.
exactly. And then sometimes we do cry about it and we're seen as weak or
Yeah.
unstable or unable. And
Or
that wraps
super
into the
duper
men's mental
emotional.
health. Exactly. And that's kind of how it wraps into the mental health is when we fellowship with one another, we build a strong relationship, we, have enough confidence in ourselves to trust that person just a morsel. And then, you know, it doesn't work out. We're still stuck stressing the situation. So then we're left to do nothing but cry or to feel frustrated or to feel sad or broken. And then we get sad and we become broken. And then we do cry about something because we're all liable to be upset about
Yeah.
something in our lives. Nobody is perfect. And that's why we have to continue to receive instruction on what to do with life because we're not at the point where we're 100% perfect. And that's where that men's mental health part comes in. But, you know,
Exactly. But before we jump into that, though, let me finish these comments, okay? We only got a couple. Let me see. Whoa, wait, hold on, wait, more than what I thought we had. Hold on. Okay, she says the
Lord
sister
have
says she's from
mercy.
Jamaica. Okay, Jamaica, Sister Dickinson, excuse me. And then Sister Miller says that's one reason social media has been a blessing. I have met so many sisters through Facebook or Instagram alone. So when I finally meet them in person, it's like, hey girl, exactly. Hey girl.
And that's
And that's
good.
the good
That's a
thing about
good,
it.
yeah. So that's one of the good things about the social media.
Let me see. Don't judge a book by its cover. Exactly. You got to start reading the
That's
pages.
plain
And
and
if you ain't
simple.
never read them
That's
pages,
start.
all you know is you've read the back of the book and you think you know somebody. You don't know
Yeah.
the details. You don't know the heart of a person. If you don't know the heart of a person, you
Right.
don't know them. Because there are people
Yeah.
that I hang around that people would be like, why is she hanging around them? And it's like, first of all, do you know the heart of that person? And if you don't know the heart of that person, then why are you speaking on who I'm hanging around?
Right.
Seriously. And it's like, if you don't know the heart of a person, then you're wasting your time. And if you
Yeah.
do know the heart of that person, how you know they haven't changed?
Hey, Sister Francis, how you doing? Yep.
Hi, hi, Mama
Ala-
Francis, all the way
Alabama's in
from
the building.
Alabama.
Mobile, Alabama.
Javon up some Bev. LOL. Nope, keep that. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, brother Javon,
Lord.
how are you? Dreams to dream. Hey, y'all. I'm trying to figure out who
Who
this
is that?
is. I don't know. Maybe you can drop your name in the comments. Your photo is smaller than what I can see. Let me see. Sister Sharika says, I pray for true fellowship to be amongst us. We looking out for each other rather than watching each other. Exactly. We can watch now and we can look out for each other because we are each other's, we can either be each other's protection or we can be
Yep.
each other's enemy. And we got to learn how to
Yeah.
be each other's protection. Even
Yeah.
when somebody comes to you talking about somebody else, that's the time for you to step in and say, you know what? That's not for my information. Whatever you need to know, that's between you and that person. I don't need to know that information. That's being that
Yeah.
protection, like protecting your brothers and your sisters. And I get it.
Yeah.
Some people mess up. Some people, don't intentionally mean to do certain stuff like that. It could be a venting session. It could be anything. But at the end of the day, you still got to be like, listen, I understand that you're not feeling this, you're not feeling that, but I'm not the one for
Right.
that conversation. And that
And
don't
then
mean you got to go
knowing
around telling them, listen,
exactly.
such and such be talking about. No, no, that don't mean you got to do that either, because you still can protect that person that messed up as well, and be like, listen, just don't do that. Like don't do
Yep.
that. Keep that to yourself. That don't mean you got to go around because you're gonna be just as bad as that person. You going around saying
Yeah.
everything to that person, like just told you because they said XYZ about XYZ. Yeah, I heard this from this person, and I had to tell them blah blah blah. So that let you know blah blah. It's like you're just as bad as that person.
Yeah.
You're just as bad as that person if you're going to continue what was told to you because you mad because they was told to you. You're just as bad.
Yeah. You're just a vicious cycle that's never gonna end. And that's
So
gonna
you
damper
have to
you.
stop it and let it stop at you. and leave it
And
at
now you
that.
built a name and a reputation for yourself that you really don't want to have, because that's going to stray people away from even wanting to think about coming to you.
Coming
You know,
right. So now you like, okay, well, dang, well, I can't go to that. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some times when somebody's going through something with somebody else, and they want an outside opinion on whether or not they responded to it in the right way. Because I've even done it.
yes,
I've even
yes,
done that.
I do that all
I've
the
been like,
time. I do
listen,
that all the
okay, so
time.
this is what happened. I don't tell the person of who it was with. You know, I'm like, listen, this is what happened between, unless I really truly trust that person not to be immature. Because if that person is going to be immature and be like, I don't want to tell them
That's a
nothing. But if I be
that's a
like,
very
listen,
small list.
but listen, I've went through this with this person and they said this to me and I reacted like this, like how in the world did I handle this right? Because in my mind, I feel bad. And I've done that. I feel bad about the way I responded. And sometimes that person could really be like, no, you did the right thing. You said the right thing to that person. They just need to understand that what they did was wrong. So don't you go, and I can do that. I can take on and say, I feel bad about the way this happened. And that person looking at me
Because it's
like,
just
why are
the
you
good in
feeling
you.
bad? Why are you
It's just
feeling
the good
bad?
in you. You know, and I get that all the time. It's just the
But I'm
good
like,
that
I
abides
can't
within
help it.
us.
Like, I feel bad because of XYZ, but they are the issue, but I feel bad. And they're like, why are you
Right,
feeling bad? Like, they did this to you. You
right,
responded in this manner because of what they did. So don't feel bad. But I still sometimes go back and clean it up because I'm like, listen, I'm sorry that I responded to you in that way, but the way that you said this really made me feel like this. And
right,
sometimes that's what it takes. You have to be the bigger person because sometimes that person may not always see that what they did really hurt you and it made you respond in a way that made you angry. And they may be looking at you like, but it's like, listen, you did this and I responded. Please forgive me for the way that I responded because I might have said some things that I shouldn't have said to you, but this is how you made me feel. And that can clean stuff up too. I'm telling you, man, I'm at that point in my life. Well, I'm all about the cleanup. They got this song out in the world called The Cleanup Woman. Well, I ain't trying to do that part of the cleanup woman. I want to be the cleanup woman, as in anything that I have dealt wrong, I want to be able to go back and
right.
correct it. Any cards
Yeah,
that have been dealt to me that were wrong, I still want to be able to go back and correct it. Because I never know what I have said to make that person deal me a bad set of cards, so to speak. So it's
yeah,
like, okay, you know what? This is what happened. And I just want to let you know that even though, you came to me about this and it was terrible, I want to let you know that I'm not holding on to that and I still love you. And if you ever need anything, you call me, you reach out to me, you text me, because we family. That's where I'm at in my life. Bump all that being angry, bump all that being mad. I don't care about that no more. Yeah, you did me dirty. Or yeah, this happened and this kind of broke up our friendship or whatever the case may be. But we don't have to be enemies
and that,
because
and
you
you
my
know,
family.
and
And when something
exactly,
happens, I want to be able to pull on heaven for you. That's where I'm at. I don't ever want to
yes,
be able to go on my knees and somebody then that person in the hospital, that person got hurt or somebody in their family died. And I can't even say, Lord, give them strength. Lord, have mercy on them. What type of sister am I? Oh no,
yeah,
I don't want nobody to ever get in the way of me praying for them because I believe
yeah,
that when I have faith and I go to God in prayer about anybody, God will come to their rescue. So why would I
yeah,
want my prayers to be hindered over something that
right,
was trivial? You cannot be a
yeah,
help to people if you mad with them.
exactly. And that's the
You
problem that
can't be a
I
help.
just, you're saying everything.
Like,
I'm
what
speechless.
can you do?
You're getting everything.
Like you
You're
cannot be a
locked
help to
up.
people. You cannot
Yeah,
be a help to people if you cannot pray for them, even
exactly.
if they
And
made you mad.
you will be badly locked up. You know,
I'm
you'll
telling
be
you.
in such a, you'll be in such a bad bind.
Yeah, I know I can get deep about this. Brother Javon says it's always good to be observant. If you know and see someone is always talking about someone else, who's to say you aren't next on their gossip list? Yeah, that's true. That is very true. So I do my best not to give them nothing to talk about. Let them assume
And it don't even gotta be a list. I could have just met you for the first time and you just got such a bad gossiper. You make something up off of the 30 seconds we talk.
that we talked.
You understand?
Listen,
People could, it's sad, and that's why perception has, and that's why gossiping has really damaged a lot of relationships,
yeah,
be it in church or out,
yeah.
and
So you got to go back
it's
and clean
that's
it up.
yeah, it's cleanup time.
It's cleanup time. It's life is
And
too short.
it's a song that somebody sings out of Colombia, and it's like clean me up, oh Lord, top to bottom, inside and out,
Yeah.
and
Is that
that's the
Brother Denny?
truth.
I think, yeah.
That's Jarrell.
Oh, okay,
Jarrell.
okay. I knew it
Tailor
was one of them,
Made.
but
Yeah,
okay,
it was
okay,
this.
yeah, I know who you talking. I
Yeah,
think I know who you talking about.
Tailor Made. And
But
he, the
not
first
trying
time
to
I
put
heard
nobody
that
on the spot. I'm
song,
sorry, y'all, if I took that the wrong way. But I love to know who sings what. So when they stand up, I be like, they gonna sing that song?
right? No, that I had. I'm like that too. Like if I see everybody knows that this one song is my song, and it's only one person that sings this song ever. Like nobody else really sings this song, and it's Sister Williams, and she sings "God Has Smiled on Me," and that's just my
Listen, I
song.
think I
Like,
be looking for God Has Smiled on Me. I be looking for Jesus Can Work It Out. Then my two. I be like, okay,
no,
which one she gonna bless me with today?
right, but then I'm looking for the third one too. He touched me. That's the other one I'm
Yes,
looking
I was gonna
for.
say that one
You
too.
know,
That's the other one too.
I just, it's just like when she sings "God Has Smiled on Me," I'm in my, I'm in my thankful period. You know, I'm not just, I'm looking for, like, that's my time to sit and really reflect. Like, and that's just not my only time, but like when that song is sung, that's my time to just reflect and look back on the things that I've gone through, the things that I've dealt with, in some way, somehow, the Lord has not given up on me yet. You know, and that's just the way I. That's just my song. That's just my song.
Right. Hold on, let me
You
read the
know,
rest of these comments too so we can go on about mental health. That way we can
Sister
spend like the
Miller.
last 30 minutes talking about that. Sister Creed said, yes, I am so that person though. She said, I don't know exactly what she was responding to. I can't remember now, but I see someone going through it. I so want to help. I've been through a lot and I try to deal with people with compassion and understanding, but sis, life is a battle. Exactly. Exactly. You always want to be that person, honestly. Sister Francis says this is very encouraging. And then Sister Jaleesa says, hey, y'all. Hey, sis.
Hey, how you doing, sis? My Charlotte
And
family in the building.
I know, right? She said, girl, go ahead. Go ahead.
That's country talk right there.
Oh, yeah.
They
I love it. I
start with
love it. I love
the
it.
first word they say is long, and then the rest is short.
You
Like,
leave us country folks alone.
you better
You
start.
better say that.
Right. They were like,
Hello, all those that are joining
go
in.
ahead.
We were talking about fellowship at first, and now we're getting ready to transition because I'm going to go back to the previous statement that was made. Sometimes people think that you should not have bad days, and as a introvert, some people can say to themselves, so you never really know, but as an extrovert, you are truly like always smiling and always looking like you got it together. So people automatically assume every day is great, and people do assume that. People tell me all the time, Bev, you make it look so easy, girl. You make look living for God look so easy because you just always look like you having a good time in the Lord. You just be enjoying Jesus. I do, but when that word comes and I be attentive and he started talking about my sins, I be like,
Right. Like, dog, he got me
And look. Then all of a sudden,
in the tears, girl. Like, God Almighty, man.
you know what I'm
It
saying?
just
So
it
definitely.
touches within.
But as a woman, we can be the ones that people cater to first. So I'm getting ready to transition for us, okay? We can be the
I see.
ones that people cater to first when we're going
Yeah.
through. But I myself, I believe in looking out for the brotherhood as well. Because there have been brothers that I have seen that do not look themselves. And the first thing I be like, yo, what's up? What's going on with you? Because you don't look yourself today. You all right? And they'll be like, nah, I'm good, Sister Bev. Just pray for me. I'm like, I'm gonna pray for you. I said, but I don't like the way you're looking. I'm gonna let you know right now. I don't like the way you're looking. I'm gonna pray about it
Yeah.
because I don't like that. I don't like to see that. And so men, honestly,
Yeah.
hey, brother Zakini, men,
Z. Moville's really showing up and out today. We think I'm the
exactly.
Alabama.
Men get overlooked a lot because they're the man
Yeah.
and they can't be depressed, they can't have anxiety,
Yeah.
they can't be emotional about anything in life because they look unstable, they look this, they look that. It's like, okay, it's one thing if I'm going through and every time you turn around, I'm like, man, like if you see a man like that, then you be like, okay, like brother man got to get it together at some point. But if he's literally genuinely saying, you know, how he's feeling about something, then it's not my place as a woman to make him feel less than a man simply because he's expressing his genuine feelings about what he's going through. So, Ryan,
Yeah.
as a man, what do you see is the issue, or what can you talk about when it comes down to the mental health of men?
There's so much I could talk about. I could go, for hours and hours on end. But one thing that I will stick with that we have been talking about is it's okay to not be okay, and that's what I want to stick with for the remainder part. Now, if we shift, then that's a different thing. But for the majority, what we have to express to men everywhere, be it young, old, middle age, old, white, black, brown, yellow, red, orange,
Green,
bronze, green, blue, purple, what I'm saying,
stripe,
cognac,
polka dotted.
burgundy, plaid, whatever the case, what have you. It's okay to not be okay.
Right.
And before I go into that, I was at work one day and something really riled me, and it takes a lot, to really get me aggravated. You know, I'm a very, kind hearted person. So, to piss me off, it takes a lot. And, the other day something went down and I went down to my favorite cafe to talk to some of my favorite people. And the first thing they said to me, "What's wrong?" And they said, "Fix your face, because that frown doesn't suit you. It's not like you to be frowning and all that." And at first I took it like, "Why are you telling me to fix my face?" But then later I realized the way they said it was not necessarily I can't go through what I'm going through, but don't let what I'm going through be shown, and don't let it get to me so much where I'm not my normal self. Because my normal self is to be smiling and all that stuff. And then, when you're frowning, that just puts a damper on you, and that puts a damper on everyone else. So now shifting gears into the it's okay to be okay. Uh, we oftentimes as men and young men go through certain situations that cause us to get upset, to get aggravated, to get frustrated, to want to be closed off. And oftentimes we go through all of that and it just builds up. It's often like an earthquake, where it's smooth, solid ground, everything's fine. But then as time progresses, something develops over and over and over until we just erupt. We've reached that breaking point, and then everyone looks at us like we're the crazy, angry, man or what have you. And it's overlooked that we go through things in the first place. We're conditioned as men in a society like today to be strong, to be there for other people, to put other people before ourselves. We're not allowed to cry. We're not allowed to get upset. We're not allowed to feel angry. We're not allowed to have our days where we don't want to be bothered. We're not allowed to have bad days. It's all these things that we are taught, trained, and conditioned to do and to be. And so then that was instilled in me as in a young age, not from church, but just from outside people, family, this, that, and the fourth. And so that causes, and I know that other men have dealt with that too, and that causes us to put up these walls where if we go through something, okay, we go through it, but we just go through it by ourselves. We don't talk about it because we know that the moment we call somebody and say, "Listen, I'm going through this. I want to see your perspective," we're seen as weak. We're
Mm.
seen as unstable. We're seen as we don't have the ability to be strong. So then women, and the reason I say women is because the men are dealing with this. So certain women will see certain men as weak, as unfit for a relationship, unfit to take care of himself, unfit to be. No, that's not the case. They don't see us as not strong, whatever the case may be. And this is from what I've seen in other people's lives, and so it's this is a very touchy topic, and so I believe that it has to be addressed though, because there's a lot of times when we want that support, but we can't get it. because we're too afraid to even ask for it. And I'm going to say this: you'll be surprised, not just to you, but to whoever's watching, um, whatever sisters or other brothers who don't go through this. But you'll be surprised how many times a man will sit in his car, sit on his step, be frustrated at work, or aggravated with himself, laying on his bed. You'll be surprised at how often he does that just to use that time to collect and gather himself together, just so that when he gets around other people, it's not bothering him no more. You know, you'll be surprised at how much a person will stand outside of their house before they get in their house, just so that once they get in their house, excuse me, once they get in their house, no one is calling them out like, "What's wrong with you? Why are you acting like that? What's going on? You shouldn't be acting like that. You're a man. Suck it up, tough it up, build it up." And that's not always the case. We have to be more careful and cautious when it comes to dealing with the emotions of a man, because a man is allowed to go through things and is allowed to feel certain ways. But if you're not around an environment that's necessarily welcoming, or around an environment where you are allowed to discuss, I'm not saying, I'm saying boo hoo and cry and all that. If it gets to that point, then that's your business and that's your situation. But there isn't enough that's talked about from a man's standpoint about what we go through and what we deal with on a daily. And so, because we're in a society where we're not allowed, quote unquote, to express ourselves, and where we're conditioned to keep it all in, we just let it build, 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 and build until we reach our breaking point, and then we explode. And now everybody looks at us like, "What the heck? Why are you exploding? Like, what's going on?" We're exploding because we weren't able to talk about the things we're dealing with. And so that's a little bit of the background that I wanted to give to the people watching.
Exactly. And it's so funny because, not funny, but, and I don't mean funny in the sense of hee hee ha ha, but like
Yeah, no, I got you.
I have three brothers and I have a father. And one thing I can truly say is that the same way I like to be there for or acknowledge the stress that my sisters are going through and my mom is going through, I always like to acknowledge the stress that my dad or my brothers could be going through. Because, us women, we make a lot of noise when we're not feeling our best. We shut the whole house down. We get mad. We start, may even throw the pot and pan. Not that my mom has done that. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, women
Yeah,
are allowed to express themselves because we're
freely.
we're seen as, you know, the well, we are the most fragile, and we are the weaker vessel, So it's like we get that permission to cry and to say I'm not feeling my best and to feel like I'm depressed and blah, blah, blah. And it's received every single time, But you let a man say that he's been feeling depressed or he hasn't been feeling his best self. Watch the type of women that's around him. Watch the type of men that are around him. Because some people would be like, that's just talk, man. Like you got to get over all that.
Yeah,
Or women, what you depressed about? I mean, what do you have to be depressed about? Like, really? It's like, are you
yeah,
serious? Like, a man, what he has to deal with, evidently, is definitely on a level that we don't know as women. You know what I'm saying? And me, I'm the type of person where I would want a man to communicate, you know,
yeah,
but he doesn't have to because I'm so
yeah.
observant that I'm going to know something wrong anyway. That's
Right.
just me.
Whether he acknowledges it is
Or
up to
not.
him.
Yeah. And, my thing would be, Lord, this doggone phone about to die and it's on 10%. I'm gonna go to my car in a few. But but if I see my
Mine
brothers,
is on 10% too. That's crazy.
Lord Jesus, my
One
I could
accord.
I could see my brothers talking about certain stuff and or just walking around the house or coming to visit or whatever the case may be, and I could be like, something ain't right. And me, I don't always know how to approach that. So sometimes I'll be like, hey, how's you doing? How's work going? Or, you all right? Like if I see my
Yeah.
brother, like, going for a walk or something, I'm like, you all right? You good? Because I want to know,
Hmm.
like, how you feeling? Because that's important to me. Like the men in my life are just as important as the women in my life.
Yeah.
So anybody knows me, I'm a daddy's girl. First of all, I love my mama too. Now, don't get me wrong, but I'm observant of my father, and if I feel like something's wrong with him, I'm like, Dad, you okay? What's going on? How's your day going? It's good to see
Right.
you. I'll just do that
Right.
because I want him to know, like, I see you and I see that something's wrong, but I just want to let you know that I love you. Like,
Right. And that
that's
you're
just
being
how I
acknowledged
am.
anyway. Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
he'll be like, I'm all right. I'm doing good. I'm like, okay
But
now.
see, and then what we also have to understand is when women do acknowledge us and they want to ask us what's wrong, sometimes it's too late, depending upon the situation. And sometimes we just don't know. Sometimes we just don't know how to take full usage of the fact someone is opening up the floor for us to acknowledge ourselves.
Right.
That's the main thing, you know. Because if somebody says, so there's people who will call, there's, you know, certain women who might see me, at work, or they might see me in just out there that I know of, or it'll be somebody like you and your sisters. Y'all can see when I'm upset. And but if the thing about the situation is, if you say, okay, what's wrong? Let's talk about it. That's gonna catch me off guard. Like, what? What do you mean? Let's talk about it. I've never been in an environment where I was allowed to talk about it.
Right.
You know, and the home is the most. The home is like the only environment where you can talk about it. Sometimes,
Depending on the home.
depending upon your household, and my household was a household where we could always talk about what we're going through, and our family banded together. Okay, he's going through this, let's figure out how we can help him through that, or she's going through this, let's figure out what we can do to adapt to that, whatever the case may be. But sometimes, you know there's things that we go through and we won't tell nobody we're going through it. We'll
Right.
leave it because of the simple fact we don't want you to see us as weak. We don't want you to see us as unfit. So we've already have two forms of prejudgment. The judgment that's telling us we're not allowed to feel this way, then the judgment of the moment we decide to talk about how we're feeling, then we are seen as weak and unable.
Right.
So, it's a very that's why I say, like, over and over, it's a very touchy topic. I see somebody else commented. I think this is the sister from. I think this is Brianna. I think this is Brianna. I can't really see the photo.
It's okay.
I don't know.
I'm leaving the library, but just
Okay.
keep talking.
So, well, the one comment says, "Well, talk heavy than Ryan." I simply go over this because I'm simply bringing this to people's attention because it's just a perception that I know exists, even though people don't want to talk about it. And sometimes we have to acknowledge that situation and call it for what it is. Sometimes we have to acknowledge the situation and call a spade a spade. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going through this. I need help, but I need to know that I can come to you without you seeing me as weak. That's
Yeah.
the point.
That's the main
That's the
key.
blank
Like, you
point.
should never ever feel like who you going to, and that's why you got to be observant of your surroundings too, because you can always tell how somebody views somebody. Even some of the men, they may not want to hear a brother open up to them and shed tears. They may be like, "Man, something wrong with him, bro. I can't deal with that."
Right. And that's the thing. Like, if I come to you, the first thing I need to know is, no
June bugs
matter
out here,
how
y'all. I'm
this,
so sorry. Hold on, let me
that's
go
all,
ahead.
no matter how much I'm going through something or how much I'm dealing with something, I need to know that before I start talking to you about this, number one, I don't know which way this conversation is going to go. I'm just
Right.
going to talk. So, number two, I just need to know that it's going to be an accepting environment. That's the first and foremost thing.
Yep.
So
So you
that's
got to
that's what you
choose
got to know.
wisely, because
Exactly.
not everybody was is given the opportunity that you was given to open up.
Exactly. So that's why it's always important for us to acknowledge people no matter what, and men most importantly, because men are going to go through stuff, but they need to know that they have other people that they can look to when they need assistance. Because there's going to be days when we might go through something and we don't know what the heck to do next. We don't know how we're
Right.
going to get through the situation we're going through. We don't know how we're going to adapt. All that. And so that's very crucial.
Exactly. Can you hear me still?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. And that's the main thing. I feel like, people always are gonna have those. You're always gonna have those people that still sticking to the old way of doing things. You're gonna have those people that still close minded, narrow minded, or a man got to keep it to himself. A man can't be doing this, he can't be doing that. And as a woman, I'm glad that I, strive to be very understanding towards men. Now, I'm not talking about no man that's out there, manipulating women by acting like he's going through so much so that he can get what he wants. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about a genuine man that is going through something that seems to be bigger than him, that he feel like he needs help with carrying. Because what type of wife would I be? What type of mother would I be if I'm
Right.
sitting here trying to not acknowledge the fact that my husband is going through something? What just happened to my dang on phone? Hello, everybody. Can y'all hear me? Lord, here we
Yes.
go again.
You're getting scratchy, but we can hear you.
Hold on. Hold on one second.
It's fixed. It's fixed.
Unmute my
It's
microphone. Remove from stream. Okay, we back.
yeah, you were back like 3 minutes ago.
Okay, my alarm went off. My crazy behind. But
That's all
what was I saying? Yeah, what type of wife or mother would I be? I just figured out something new because the last time I ain't figured that out, so I was all jacked up. But anyway,
right.
what type of wife or mother would I be to not
Yeah.
acknowledge the pain or the situations that my husband or that my sons would be going through? And what type of
Yeah.
atmosphere at home would I be setting for them? Because your
Yeah.
house is supposed to be your safe space. After you done been out there fighting demons, devils, fools, wicked folks, and you come home, you want to find a safe haven where you can let down your guard and know that it's not gonna be taken for granted, or it's not gonna be taken out of context. Because
Yeah.
literally, my one of the celebrities I know, not that I know personally, but he said that, a man needs, because him and his wife have been married for years. I think it's 20 something years they've been married. And he said a man needs a woman that he can fall apart in front of and not be judged.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like as a woman, you want to set that atmosphere that whomever you marry, if it be the Lord's will for a woman to get married, that you don't ever want to make him feel less than for simply having feelings, for having feelings, for not being able to be happy about everything that's going wrong in his life. I mean, who's going to rejoice over everything that's going wrong in their life? Nobody in their right mind.
Exactly.
So why not
Right.
create a safe space for him? And what about the sons? What about the moms that you want to tell your son what you crying for? Like, you better man up. Okay, well, first of all, this happened, and men can be heartbroken. Men could have
Exactly.
heartbreak. They could go through things in life. They could be rejected. They really
Yeah.
wanted this job, and the job didn't come through for them, and they've been having down on their luck for I don't know how long, and it just seemed like ends ain't meeting and stuff ain't going right, and they got all this stuff they got to carry because the man is supposed to be the provider. The man is supposed to be the one that makes sure the house don't fall in if no one else. You know what I'm saying? So it's like all of these things are on their shoulders, and who am I to be the woman to not allow him to express how he's feeling about that? Even if he doesn't want to open up and say it, why can't I create that space? So, my
Yep.
question, hold on, wait. Sister Jaleesa says, I feel like sometimes a person just needs someone to listen and not necessarily have a solution. You can find your answer sometimes when you let out what you have to say. Exactly. And that's the thing. Everything does not deserve a response. Some things just deserve a listening ear. Everything is not a whole, oh, well, yeah, XYZ. Sometimes it's just a man, like, I hear you, and I just want you to know anytime you want to open up about anything, even if you don't want me to give a response, just let me know straight up. I don't really need a response. Just listen to me for a little bit.
Exactly. And that's really, I'm glad you said that, because when it comes to acknowledging where you're what sometimes we don't want people to I had to stand. I'm sorry. My legs was getting tired.
Okay.
Um,
We can almost
I'm
be done. I
sorry.
know it's been a while. Go ahead.
No, 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 no. That's all right. That's good. But the thing is, the other thing is sometimes I'm telling you something so that just because I don't want a response, I'm telling you something simply just because I want you to hear me. Because like you said, when you're a father, when you're a husband, when you got a house to provide for, you got a job to go to every day, you're supposed to be the breadwinner of the family. You're supposed to, like we're instructed to do, we're supposed to take care of our family. We're supposed to be the provider. And so you're providing, you're taking care, you're doing homework, washing, cleaning, cooking, because it's not just the wife job to do all that. The man got to do it too. So when you're
For
doing all
some
that and y'all
men, but go
split
ahead.
it,
Wait, that's another topic. Go
well,
ahead.
they ain't ready for that topic either. But we're not going to discuss that one. They're not ready for that one quite yet. But like we're instructed to do to take care of our family, you're supposed to still go to work and all that stuff. Then you got your own problems you're dealing with, but you got to put all that aside to make sure your wife is good. However many children you got is good. Still got to wake up every day and go to work. Then got to come home, make it to church. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff you got to deal with. So that's why it's easy, but it's easier said than done for somebody to say, well, you shouldn't really be going through nothing. It's easy to say that, but it's harder when you're in the shoes of that person and you really are that person is welcoming you because that's what they're doing. If somebody is letting you know their situation, be it man or woman, they are welcoming you into their safe haven. That is whatever it is. And so that's why, as men, we do certain things to help us relieve stress. Like I know some people that are musicians, they get on the organ or the keyboard or the guitar and they just start playing, and they let that be their therapy. Some people, they like to travel. And when they travel, they like to just be, in certain areas that, help them be at ease and at peace. Me, I'm a nature dude. So I love to be surrounded by nature. When I get stressed, that's where I go. I go to nature because that's where I can find some serenity and some peace within. So that's what we have to do as men. We've got to find things to kind of take the place of being able to talk about it. We've got to find other outlets to just relieve it.
Yeah. So what are ways that we as women and even as children, because it could be our father, it could be our uncle, it could be, anybody that we want to ask, like, how are you doing? What do you suggest that we do to approach the situation?
First off, the first thing we have to do is get rid of the status quo statement that men are not allowed to go through anything. That's first and foremost the first step. Once you get that out of your mind, then if you have it in your mind, because I'm not going to say everybody does, not everybody does, but if you do, get that out of your mindset that men aren't allowed to go through things. And then also, too, if you see somebody that's upset or you see, they may not be themselves, or even if you don't see that, even if they're a person who doesn't wear their emotion on their face, check in with that person. It doesn't hurt to check in, and that's something that I do daily with any and everybody. And I try to make sure I check in with one person this week, another person with that week. Oh, I didn't. There's even people where I have daily check-ins with, like on a certain day of the week at a certain time. That's our time to go on the phone and see how each other is doing. You know, certain things like that, you don't know how the littlest things will help people, by simply, you were on my mind, so I decided to call you. Like, I do that all the time. If you cross my mind, I'm going to call you. I'm not a texter. I'm sorry, that's just not me. Because I believe in hearing your voice firsthand. I want to hear if you really sound how you tell me you're sounding. I want to see you in person. Do you look okay? Because it's one thing to tell me you're okay, but it's another to not look or to feel it, And once we start doing those little things, then it's easier for other men to open up, Because me, I'm a flat out tell you, listen, I'm going through X, Y, and Z. Can we talk about it? That's just the person I am, because I know that as for me and myself, I'm not going to struggle with talking about something I'm dealing with unless it's super, super, super hard. And I purposefully will not talk about the things I'm dealing with because it's just the person I am. I care about others and their well-being so much that I kind of put myself to the side. So I have to, that's something I have to work on, and I have to taking those necessary first steps so that we can better equip, and better make a welcoming space for the men and what they're going through, So simply just checking on that person from time to time. And the person don't even have to cross your mind, but just making the effort, okay, I haven't heard from this person in a while. Stop waiting till the convention to talk to a person in the church. Convocation is not the only time where you will where you should be talking to a person. If I know somebody in another temple and I'm waiting till the convocation to talk to them, that's bad. That's bad because they could be going through something in between the convocation, and they really might be down and out in the dumps, and they really might need help. But it's what they're going through. They don't want to burden nobody else because men automatically have this thing in their mindset where if they even like begin to talk about their problem, I say some men do, and I'm one of those people where I feel like I'm burdening you. Like if you ask me if I'm okay, I'll feel like I'm burdening you if I tell you no, I'm not okay, and I'm not even going into detail. I'll just simply tell you no, I'm not okay, and automatically I'm like, well, you know what, Ryan, we're not going to continue to talk about it. I already feel like I'm burdening this person, and that's not the type of feeling you should have. So we've got to start with those initial steps to create an open and welcoming mindset. And then from there, the rest will come at their own pace, at their pace rather, not pace. They'll come at their own pace, Lord have mercy. And, from there, things will get better, but it's a work in progress. And one of the things to get better is to acknowledge, number one, first and foremost, my main quote for this men's mental health section: it's okay to not be okay. Once we start to acknowledge the fact that it's okay to not be okay, we can start to feel what we're going through. Because sometimes we're going through something and we'll force ourselves not to let ourselves go through the motions of what we're feeling. It's okay to not be okay. I had to learn that the hard way. I had to, from talking to somebody that I really look up to, within the church. He and I'll sit down, or I might call him, and he might miss my call, but he'll call me back, and I'll be like, "Listen, I'm going through such and such and such a thing. Can you got some time where we can talk about it?" And he knows it's hard for me to discuss certain things, even though he's been a person I've gone to for probably 3, 4, 5, 6 years now. But because of my comfortability, the situation is never going to be easy to introduce the topic. But once you introduce it and you're comfortable, the rest will flow. So I also recommend finding that person. Doesn't necessarily have to be another man. It could be a sister. It could be your brother. It could be another sister in the church. It could be whatever. It's where your comfortability lies, and make sure you're doing it decently and in order. Make sure your good is not evil spoken of in the process of doing it. And it's just keeping all those things in mind and in perspective, and you'll be fine. But we've got to get over this hump and this barrier that men are not allowed to feel, because that thing is like to the sky, and we got to knock that thing all the way down. Like Pop tells us all the time, knock it off its pedestal. That is such a high statement, and it's been a statement that's been going on for so long. We'll
People
tell
don't know how to change
ourselves
it.
they don't, and that's why we have to start somewhere. And I believe that, and I pray and hope people find encouragement in this conversation. I really, this is something I've thought about for a long time, and this is something I deal with too. I would, trust me, for all your brothers out there joining in and y'all sisters out there, I wouldn't bring up a topic like this so heavy if I wasn't even going through it. But because I go through this stuff too, we have to let each other know you're not the only one going through something, because we see each other on Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. We rejoice in the Lord. We hear the message, we eat, all that stuff. We go back and rejoice in the Lord again. We talk again after second service, and then we all go home. We might see each other occasionally if we decide to hang out on a Saturday or choir rehearsal or whatever, but you'll never know if somebody else is going through it if you don't start somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I really do appreciate this insight because Even though I do try, like I said, to do be there for my men folk and for the women folk. I will say that it's probably a lot easier to get a woman. It's definitely a lot easier to get a woman to open up versus a man.
Yeah.
Um, so just
Oh yeah.
knowing how to approach it, and to never ever approach them as if they can't feel. I think that's really
Yeah.
important to give them that open atmosphere and that accepting and welcoming
Yeah.
atmosphere. And even if they don't open up at first, just letting them know, hey, whenever you want to talk, I'm here. And just know that you
Right.
don't have to be going through
And
all this
just
stuff
leave.
and never say anything. And I think that allows them to
Exactly.
know, like, okay, eventually I can get to the place where I want to talk about this.
Right. And eventually, I'm gonna get to the place where I will be more comfortable, and it's gonna come more naturally, because, and then I won't have to wait for somebody to open the floor for me to talk about it. I can just reach out to that person and say, "Listen, I'm going through something. You got a few minutes to spare." You know.
Right. So I really do appreciate this day because,
Yes.
it's not talked about enough. It's not talked about enough, to help out our men because we know that we'll go to bat for the women. First
Yeah.
thing we'll say, and I know I'm one of those. I believe in being an advocate for everybody, to be honest. But I'm definitely one of those that'll be like, listen, women go through a lot. We got body changes, we got this, that, the third that men don't have to go through. That's true, and that'll always be true. But men go through things that we don't ever have to go through. Like
Yeah.
if we really look at the picture, we should be able to allow the men to fall apart in front of us and understand that that's strength. That's not a
Yeah.
weakness.
No.
It's strength to be vulnerable because so many people have made up in their minds they don't want to be.
Yeah.
And they don't realize what they're doing to themselves. They're hindering themselves from growth. They're hindering themselves from allowing outside sources to be their help when they don't even have the what it takes for themselves to help them.
So, yeah.
When you are vulnerable, you allow yourself the opportunity to be able to um to just have, let me see, a moment of breakthrough. Like when you're
Because you're
vulnerable, you
finally
have that
accepting.
moment to breakthrough. Like, oh my gosh, like this is really helping me. This is what I've been needing, and
Yeah.
even if that person can't help you, the fact that you chose to open up to that person, you know, and even or not even if that person can't help it, but even if that person doesn't, want to intercede, they just want to be able to just listen to you. That's still good because, like Sister Jaleesa was saying, you can find your answers, and that happens to me sometimes. I'll be talking to somebody about something, and then before you know, I'm like, I didn't even think of that myself until I just said it out loud. Thank you. Like
Yeah.
I'm glad I said something to them, but I just got an answer through what I was telling them. So
Right.
it's a thing of just allowing men to be men and understanding that our definition of men is not always their definition of a man. Because the true definition of a man is one that, of course we know starting with God and having his priorities in line and all those things, but it also means that he's able to express himself. That's a part of being a man. And how can he express himself in a healthy manner if we've never allowed it? If we never allow a man to be able to say when he's angry or things like that from the youth up,
Yeah.
if we've never, and I'm not talking about in an abusive way or anything like that, I'm talking about in a way where even if it starts out in that aspect, you never know where it came from, so you have to learn. Like if your son shows this high level of anger and he's going off whenever he's upset, okay, you need to figure out what's up because he needs to learn how to express his anger in a way that's still healthy to himself and those that are around him.
Yep.
But if he's simply just saying, I'm upset about something, one thing about my little brother, and when he was a kid, when he got upset, he would just say things like, I'm upset about this. And he would say it in a way that was very
So her camera broke out. So I guess we're gonna have to continue the conversation till she comes back. But yeah, simply finding those certain outlets to adapt in a certain kind of way to where you won't be angry, um, but you'll also, Kenya, what's up, man? How you doing? But you'll also be able to, relieve the stress of whatever you're going through, feel better about whatever you're going through, and then know that whatever it is you are going through, you can overcome that and you can fix that, and it won't be a problem for you. And so over time, it will happen. It's not going to happen all at once, but over time, that will happen, and you will feel a whole lot better about it. Um, and the you'll feel that you're more willing to go out and express yourself and explore and see who you can deal with and who you can't deal with, and see who can be there for you and who won't be there for you. So it's so many different things that we have to take into consideration when it comes to, number one, expressing ourselves, and number two, knowing it doesn't matter what it is we are going through, we can deal with whatever it is, um, and still be fine. You know, we can deal with whatever it is and know that, okay, I sat here and I discussed this with that person. So now I'm not uh, feeling so angry about the situation, or it's not bothering me as much because I've had the opportunity to sit and to talk about it first. And so now I won't just take what happened and get angry and be mad and be upset and all that and whatever else the case may be. So that's why oftentimes we really just have to not feel like we're burdening other people, and you know just simply take what we're feeling, accept that what we're feeling is okay to feel, and then move on from there. So don't really know if she's I don't really know if she's back, but I see her screen loading. So I'm hoping everything is good. I don't know what, can y'all hear me, or can y'all hear me or see me? Negative. Please, y'all, let her know if y'all can hear her or see her, because I can't. Um,
Okay.
we're back.
Can y'all see me?
Yes. We're back.
Can y'all see me?
Yes. I had to start from the beginning. I had never seen Bernie Mac before. Can you hear me?
Ryan, can you hear me? Ryan, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can't see you. Hold on.
Yeah.
You still there? Nope. Hold on. Wrong one. I'm coming, y'all. I'm sorry.
I am still here.
Okay, perfect. All right. I don't know if y'all can see him. I can't see him for some strange reason. Hey, Ashley.
Yeah, it's my video is gone.
Yeah, I don't. Is it on your end? Because I added you back to the stream, but I can't see you.
Yeah, it's on my end.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It's been my phone died because it overheated, so I'm like putting it in front of the AC so it can cool down. But
Ashley
I
said
thank
it.
y'all for being so patient. I still got 4 people in here, so thank y'all so much. But yeah, I was coming to an end with it. I just really want to thank you, Ryan, for coming on, and for being a
Yes.
part of my show, and for giving us some insight on fellowship as well as the mental health of the men of today, and just how we need to create another safe space for the men to be able to open up and to never ever make them feel like they aren't being heard. Um, and it's a really good topic to have, and I hope that maybe in the future we can get some other brothers on here with you, and maybe we can talk about it as a whole. Like
Yeah.
talk about it with some more brothers to get their insight on how they see things and how they feel and what they have learned as men and what to do, because it could always give insight. So I'm hoping to have a brothers panel one of these days.
Yes, I
So
was thinking that.
sisters, we could always talk. But if I get some brothers on here to talk about, how they feel and, just having rough days and things like that, I think it's a beautiful thing, to get them together. So maybe that's something that we can work on in the future, God willing. We can get us a panel of different ages, too. We don't want just
Yeah.
young brothers. Maybe we can get brothers, maybe a brother, you're one of the brothers in their 20s. Maybe we can get another brother in his 20s, get a brother or so in their 30s, because I think I can have up to like 10 people on. So
Yeah, I
um,
think that'd be a very good idea.
Yeah, like get a brother in his 30s, get a brother in his 40s, maybe a brother in his 50s. It just depends on who's open and who's available.
Right.
And basically, be able to talk about these things. And then we can hear the different generational backgrounds, too, as far as what they are allowed to do as men and things like that. So I think it's very important to have that experience and to have that knowledge and to
Yeah.
be able to allow things to transpire the way that they should. So
Oh
again,
yeah.
thank you so much. I really wish I could see your face, but I'm so
Maybe
shocked.
maybe if I go out and come back in, it might let me.
Okay, try and see what happens.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm very grateful for everyone that has been here with us from the beginning. Thank you for hanging in there so well and wonderfully. I really do appreciate y'all. Let me see. And can hear both. Great. Let me see. Let me give it a few. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Who looks nice? Oh, I guess you're talking about me. I don't know.
Okay, I'm back. But
Yeah, it's still not showing your face.
it's a negative on the camera. But I greatly appreciate you letting me come on to the show and
Absolutely.
bring this topic before the people. We may have to do a part two since we didn't get to everything we had initially discussed at first.
And
But it's good.
we definitely can get to a part two. We definitely can do that. You just
Yeah,
know that.
I think I think because what we sat down and discussed, we didn't get all of, which is good. I like impromptu. When it's not really planned, you go with the flow of the conversation. Um,
Absolutely. And maybe part two we can have the male panel.
yes, yes. But it was enlightening, and I'm glad. I'm thanking you for being able and willing to have let me come on. Kind of bring what I see to the table.
Absolutely. Thank you for reaching out because you wanted to be a part of the show. I appreciate that. Well, everyone, I do appreciate you all. Oh, thanks, Ashley. She said,
She said, "Lord, not the bishop." Ashley, please quit. 3 minutes or less.
I'm done. Stop it. All right. Well, I have to do my closing song. So if you want to hang in for a little while longer, I'm going to do my closing song as I always try to do.
Yes.
And then we'll end the live. Oh, may God be with you. Oh, may God be with you. Oh, may God be with you till we meet again. Oh, may God be with you. Oh, may God be with you. Oh, may God be with you till we meet again. Y'all have a great Saturday. I got some plans today, y'all, God willing, so I'm looking forward to some fun, family and fun. I love
That's
y'all,
always
and I
good.
hope y'all have a wonderful day and a
Yes.
weekend. Ryan, same to you and the family. Tell your mom and your grandmother and your sisters that I said hello.
I surely will. And likewise for you as well. Uh,
Absolutely.
until we meet again.
Oh,
Bye.
and God willing, that'll be in a few weeks. Yes, Lord.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't get me started.
I know, right? Well, y'all take care. Bye.
Ciao.